All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. We're here with another segment of this prevention, and we're talking about communication, effective communication as it pertains to prevention. Now, we mentioned in a couple of the segments before this, we gave you some things that you could try. Number one is starting to talk to yourself in the mirror. Get in the mirror. You know what I mean? See how you look when you're attempting to articulate the thoughts that are in your brain, when you're trying to convey these to other people and get them to understand what you're saying, because oftentimes you'll find out that when you're talking to somebody, the thought that you may have in your mind, it's very different from the look that you may have on that you're expressing on your face at the time. And it's because of your frustration, because you get frustrated, because you can't connect, you can't gap that bridge between the thought that you have in your mind and the words that you're verbalizing out of your mouth. And there's a lot of things that play in the role when they come into play when it comes to effectively being able to communicate with somebody. One of the things that we're talking about that will help to bridge that gap between the thought that you have and the way that you articulate that thought when you speak to other people, one of the things is educating yourself, man. You know what I mean? Learn more. Gain a wider vocabulary. When you learn more words to be able to express the thoughts that are in your mind, you can more readily express those thoughts that are in your mind. Educate yourself. Take some time reading, or better yet, take some time listening to some other people. Articulate some things, express some things. You know, people are always using Facebook for one avenue or another, for this or that, but I'm telling you, if you get on Facebook, start to listen to some people expound upon some things, talk about some things. You know what I mean? Just take a listen. It doesn't really matter what the subject may be, but you're going to learn a lot. You know, you listen to some stuff about nutrition. You got some guy on there, some big muscle guy talking about, hey, you know how I get my body this big? This is what I do, such. And he's going to go into this long dissertation talking about how he makes his body, but he's going to be speaking. He's going to articulate. He's going to take those thoughts that are in his mind, and he's going to speak them out, him or her, and they're going to speak them out through their mouths. They're going to articulate them, and they're going to make some expressions, and they're going to use some words, and they're going to say some things. Take those things. Take them in. Take the stuff in that you can use, those expressions and whatnot, and then when you have your thoughts, hey, think back to, hey, you remember that guy on that nutrition thing? I remember he said that, listen, the best way to paint a picture for this, that, is to do this and that. Hey, now you've adopted that too, and you've helped to express yourself more clearly with the thought that you had in your mind. Does that make sense? Okay, so try that. Listen to some other people. Now, when we're talking about communication, and we're talking about effectively being able to communicate and how this deals with prevention of stopping something from occurring or from reoccurring in our lives that were in place before. Listen, one of the key things that we should employ, we talked about empathy, right? We talked about getting in the mirror and practicing and seeing how we look and speaking to ourselves. We talked about our process of thinking, right? We talked about our decision-making process and all of these other things, and you combine all of that information together. Well, here's another aspect that we need to consider, that we should consider. It would be wise to consider. Think about not just seeing things from somebody else's point of view, but listening to other people, employing what they say. I'm an avid workout person. I love to work out, but doing my job and doing all the other things that I have done and that I do on a daily basis, you know, my grandson and my mother, and you know, she has dementia, and you know what I mean, and there's just a plethora of other. I have my company, and then I have my company exists in dual states. You know, it's here and it's also out in Phoenix, Arizona. You know what I mean? So with all of these things that I have going on, and then my involvement in my ministry, you know what I mean, with my church family, New Life and Spirit Revival Center, with, you know, Bishop Curtis L. Jones Sr., you know what I mean, and Pastor Vicki Jones, you know, very involved in all of that stuff. So there's so many moving parts to things that oftentimes I have to, when I want to work out and do so, I can't do those things. So you know what I had to do? Man, I had to go and talk to some people and tell them, say, hey, you know what? Listen, man, I'm 55 now, and I was feeling the bulge. I say was because I've taken care of that, because I've employed some of these things that I'm getting ready to tell you about. But I had to go to some people and I had to say, hey, listen, I can't figure this thing out. Me, I'm a certified personal trainer. Everybody that knows butt kicking boot camp, man, that was going on years ago, man, there was some people, some great people, man, that lost so much weight and changed their lives and whatnot. Man, fantastic. But okay, I moved on from that and I'm doing something else now. And guess what? Man, I need some help. So I went and talked to some other people that were versed in the field, right? One of my friends, Mark Jones, loved this brother, you know what I mean? Great guy, avid workout. You catch his videos on there all the time, man. This guy, he's phenomenal, right? Talk to him. You know, he gave me some great workout stuff. You know, somebody here, Eileen Morales, she's great with the nutrition stuff. She gave me some great hints on some stuff and whatnot. And I talked to some other people, you know what I mean, online, and some other people that gave me some great stuff. I watched some videos and this and that. But guess what? It did me absolutely no good. You know why? Because they talked to me, they shared the information, but I didn't apply it. So guess what? I was still battling the bulge. I was still battling all of those other things because I got great information, but I wasn't applying it. Now we're talking, I don't want you to lose sight of what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to effectively communicate with other people. And what is effective communication? This is us expressing clearly our thoughts and feelings with somebody else who was effectively expressing their thoughts and feelings, but each of us is understanding the other. That's effective communication. It's not effective if it's just me, getting my point out, or them just getting their point out, or is this both of us just and nobody getting their? That's not effective communication. Effective communication is, listen, it's my responsibility to make sure that you clearly understand exactly what I'm thinking. It's my responsibility to do that. It's their responsibility to make sure that I clearly understand what they're thinking. When we put those two responsibilities together, we have effective communication. You understand? And that's how we can move forward. So I was collecting all of this information from these people and not employing it. And still a bit down and still a bit depressed because I'm used to looking in the mirror and seeing a magnificent specimen of a African-American man. And I was looking in the mirror and now I'm seeing some bulge and I'm seeing something that I just was not happy with. It wasn't until I took that information and I applied it. I applied that information. I took what Mark Jones was telling me about this workout stuff, man. You gotta and do this many and this and that and try this and this balance thing and all of this. He was telling me all of this stuff that was like, I was like, whoa, man, I've never tried that before. I applied that. And guess what? Man, it was working. It wasn't until I took what Eileen Morales was telling me about the nutrition. Hey, man, you got to cut this salt down. You got to, you got to do this. You got to do that. So I did that. And I was like, I don't know about all this stuff. But when I applied that stuff, I said, man, it's working. Now that I've applied those things, man, I'm looking back in the mirror and at 55 years old, I'm seeing a magnificent specimen. I'm not done, but I'm getting closer. And listen, and it's helping me to prevent something, because guess what? Here, if we had effective communication, it's not effective. It's not even effective if I'm just hearing you and I'm not applying. It's not effective if you're just hearing me right now and you're not going to apply any of this. That's not effective. I'm not doing my job. If you're not taking what I'm saying and applying that, giving it a chance to work in your life, sometimes you have to try some things that you've never done in order for you to accomplish some things that you've never accomplished before. Sometimes you have to, and you have to be open to try some new things, some different things. I'm not asking you to step outside of your religious beliefs. I'm not going to do that. I'm not asking you to step outside of your moral standard that you've set for yourself. I'm not going to do that. You don't have to compromise who you are and what you stand for. I will never compromise the God that I believe in. I will never compromise the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what I personally believe in. I will never compromise that. However, if you have a better way of me praying to enhance my prayer life, or you have a better way of me being able to serve others, I'm going to listen to that, and I'm going to employ that and see if it's going to work for me. So that's what we're talking about today. I hope this blessed you. We'll be back tomorrow with some more for you. You stay tuned. You stay blessed. And remember, don't let anybody tell you that you are not intelligent, because you are. God created you. If you're black, white, Chinese, or whatever your ethnicity is, whatever your socioeconomic status is, that matters not. God created us all. He loves us all, and we're all very important to him. And you're very important to me. Be very important to yourself. God bless you. You take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.